Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It looks like we have lost few people here. Eh? There are few empty seats.
There are some issues with the timing. They are having other duty also. They are faculties.
Oh, okay.
Other academic sessions.
Oh, I thought that people are losing interest.
No, sir.
Good afternoon, anyway. Okay, so today we'll talk about feedback stabilization by using state feedback. What is that? Well, suppose we have an autonomous system x dot equal to x dot t equal to x. Suppose system is not stable, or even if the system is stable, it's not strongly stable. It's not robustly stable. Sometimes it might happen that is theoretically stable, but few eigenvalues are just on the or just slightly away from the imaginary axis. Okay. So in that case, the question arises how to stabilize such a system. Okay, or make it strongly stable. Well, what do you do? The thing to do is to make use of the controlling. Okay. You have to apply some control force to the system. Because control is something we have at our control. Okay, that's something we can control, right? So suppose we apply control force of the form, say BUT. But B is a fixed matrix of order n by m, of course, and UT is the control factor. So now the question arises, how do you choose this control factor E of t such that the modified system will be stable? Okay. So let's say suppose that we choose E of t equals minus k times x of t, where x of t is the state vector and k is some unknown matrix, unknown constant matrix, right? So with this value of u of t, if you put it back in the system here, so what do you get? You get x dot t equal to a x t minus b k x of t, right? If you just plug in the value of u in the equation. So that gives me a minus b k x of t. So now you have a system x dot equal to a minus b k x t, where the control factor ut has been used. So this system is called the closed loop system because if you look into the yeah. If you look into this diagram, you can see that this vector is, we are choosing this e of t and as a function of k, to k, and then putting it back to the system, right? So now, we have this system x dot t equal to a minus b k x of t. So the problem is now, how do we choose this matrix K in such a way that the matrix A minus BK would be stable? Okay. So this problem is called the stabilizability problem. If such a K exists, then we say the system is stabilizable. So question arises, when does such a K exist? Okay. So let's look into this theorem. This theorem says that the first two statements are important. It says that the system AB, or the system x equal to ax plus b, the system is stabilizable if and only the rank of this matrix A minus lambda I B is n for all eigenvalues of the matrix A, for which the real parts are greater than or equal to 0. Well, there are n eigenvalues, right? And there is a criteria of controllability that we forgot to mention here, that this is a criteria of controllability. That criteria says that a system AB is controllable if and only rank of the matrix A minus lambda I equal to n for each I. Okay. For each lambda I. Where lambda i's are the eigenvalues of the matrix A. That means if this matrix A minus lambda I, each of these matrices, each of these n matrices has to have rank n. So in other words, we said that all these n modes, lambda 1 through lambda n, are controllable, right? If for some lambda I, this rank is not equal to n, then we say that mode is uncontrollable. Okay. But here this says, what it says, that for stabilizability, all the modes do not need to be controllable. All is needed that the unstable modes have to be controllable. And if and only if condition. There exists a matrix K such that A minus B is stable, or in other words, the system is stabilizable, if and only all the unstable modes are controllable. Okay. Now, if the system is controllable, of course it is stabilizable, because it is true for every mode. In particular, it's true for the unstable mode as well. Right? For the time being, we'll assume that system is controllable. And then the next question is, how do we construct such a matrix K, assuming that it exists? And if we make an assumption that AB is controllable, that means it's controllable for every mode of the system is controllable, right? So we are guaranteed that that exists again. The question arises, how do we construct such a game? Okay, let's look into that. Again, we'll see that this can be done by means of solution of a Lyapunov matrix equation. Let's look into the theorem. Suppose AB is controllable. Choose a number beta which is greater than the absolute value of the maximum eigenvalue of the matrix A. You understand what I'm saying? A has several eigenvalues, right? One of them is maximum, right? Take the absolute value of the maximum eigenvalue and call it beta. And choose a number beta which is greater than the absolute max of the eigenvalue of the matrix A. And with that beta, you form this Lyapunov matrix equation. It is of the form AX plus AXA transpose equal to some matrix on the right hand side. Now, do you remember the Lyapunov's criteria of stability? What is the criteria of stability? Lyapunov criteria of stability, if you remember, is the following. This matrix equation where M is a symmetric positive definite matrix, has a unique symmetric positive definite solution X. If and only the matrix A is a stable matrix, meaning that if and only all the eigenvalues of the matrix A have negative real parts. Remember, right hand side matrix M has to be symmetric positive definite. Okay. So if A is stable and the right hand side matrix M is positive definite, then only I can guarantee that solution X will be symmetric positive definite. Okay. But look at this equation. This is not exactly that equation. Okay, first of all, is this matrix minus A plus beta I a stable matrix? Ask yourself. I've chosen beta in such a way that beta is greater than absolute lambda max of A. Does it guarantee that the matrix A I'm sorry, matrix minus A plus beta I is a stable matrix. Does it guarantee that? It does. Why? It does guarantee that matrix A is stable matrix. I mean A minus A plus beta I is stable matrix. Because you're choosing beta as a number greater than W max A. Right? So even the W max equal to 0, and if you just choose some number beta greater than that, then it will make it stable. I mean, A minus A plus beta I will have all its eigenvalues positive real parts. So minus of that, minus of A plus beta I will have all the eigenvalues negative real parts. So that part is clear. Okay. So minus A plus beta I is stable. What about the right hand side matrix? B transpose is not necessarily, is not a positive definite matrix. For example, if B is a single input, I mean it's a single input system, B is a vector, right? Say 1, 1, 1. Multiply B transpose, you get a matrix 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? You get a matrix with all the entries 1, which is equal, which is not positive definite, it's positive semi-definite. So what should you do? Well, that is why we need the condition of controllability. Remember, we assume that AB is controllable. The controllability condition of AB, the controllability condition assures that even the right hand side is of that form BB transpose, not necessarily positive definite. The solution X will be positive. How do I know that? That is theorem. Okay, you have the control book with you. You have the book with you.
Yes.
Look into theorem 7.2.6. Look into theorem 7.2.6. You get it?
Yes.
What does the theorem say? What does the theorem say? What does the theorem say? What page is that?
209.
Eh?
209.
209? It's an e-book or printed book?
Printed book.
209 you said, right? Okay. Theorem 7.2.7. Here it is in 7.2.6, actually it's not right. The 7.2.6. Yeah, 7.2.6, right? Yeah. No, 7.2.7. It says, the theorem says, if A is a stable matrix, and the Lyapunov matrix equation of the form Ax plus X transpose equals minus BB transpose. 7.2.6. I don't show them. Yeah. So look at the statement of the theorem. If A be a stable matrix, then the Lyapunov equation of the form X plus X transpose equal to minus BB transpose has a unique symmetric positive definite solution X if and only if AB is controllable. So this theorem is more powerful than the Lyapunov original theorem, right? because right hand side does not have to be positive definite. The matrix M does not have, and here the right hand side be B transpose. But you need the condition of controllability. First of all, the matrix A has to be stable, and if the pair AB is controllable, then this Lyapunov matrix equation is guaranteed to give you symmetric positive differential matrix. And this is what we are going to use now. Okay. Yeah. No, this is the don't go down. Go down. Go down. Yeah. No. Don't show the kind of go down. Go down. Yeah. So look at the theorem. So that's the reason we need the assumption for controllability. Okay. So under the assumption that AB is controllable, the pair AB is controllable, this Lyapunov matrix equation has always a symmetric positive definite solution Z, right? And if you construct your matrix K such that BT, B transpose, G inverse, K is B transpose Z inverse, then that K is such that A minus BK will be stable. You understand what I'm saying? How do I know that matrix Z is invertible? Well, G is symmetric positive definite, right? And symmetric positive definite matrix has to be invertible. Has to be non-singular, right? So what does this theorem tell you? How to find this matrix K then algorithmically? Well, here it is. Here what do you do? First, you have to assume that the pair AB is controllable. Then the first step is choose a number beta, so the beta is greater than absolute lambda max A. Where lambda max A is the eigenvalue of A with the largest real part. Okay. That guarantees that A plus beta I has all its eigenvalues positive real parts. That means minus of A plus beta I has all its eigenvalues negative real parts. Okay. So that guarantees that this system, the equation in step 2, the Lyapunov matrix equation, will have a symmetric positive definite solution C. So solve that equation. I will tell you how to solve it, but for the time being, you can use the app. You have used that yesterday. The MATLAB command app. Get your Z. G is positive definite, so it has to be invertible. So from the matrix K, it will be B transpose G inverse, and then it can be shown mathematically that the matrix A minus BK is stable and also eigenvalue negative values. Okay, it's a two-step algorithm only. Okay, so let's look into an example. If you want to know the proof, just look at the book. Proof is there, proof is simple. What happened now? Oh, okay. I don't know what is happening. Yeah. no. We have done it. No, not this. No, again, this example, right? No, this. Okay, here is an example on the stabilizing the motion of the inverted pendulum that we have seen yesterday, right? So here is the system matrix A, and the parameters small m, capital M, L, and G are chosen this way. Okay. So if we choose the parameters this way, you have seen already yesterday that the system is not stable. It's controllable but not stable, right? Remember, with the B that given, it's controllable but not stable. System is not stable, right? So we need to stabilize the system. Okay, let's use the Lyapunov equation technique to do that. Okay. So we need to choose this is the, suppose, we choose the matrix B this way. And you can check easily that AB is controllable. You can check that by using any of the tests you know that right now. Okay. And then, now, the eigenvalues of the matrix A are 0, 2 zeros, plus minus 4.6938. So it's, it's unstable with 2 zero eigenvalues. And beta, so beta has to be greater than 4.6938, right? So let's choose beta equal to 5. And then you can easily see that A plus beta I is the matrix A plus beta I, minus A plus beta I is stable, right? This choice of beta guarantees that. And then you solve the Lyapunov equation using your command Lyap. You get the solution Z. This is your solution. This D is symmetry positive depth. And then compute matrix K as B transpose Z inverse. Okay. So this is your K. And A minus BK, you can see, is stable. The original A was not stable, but we have computed K using Lyapunov matrix equation in such a way that A minus BK is stable. It's a very simple algorithm, right? You see this algorithm before? No.
Yeah.
Yes? What did you say? Yeah? What did you say?
Not algorithm possible.
What did you say? No. Okay. Now, so it is a simple algorithm, but what are the problems here? You see the problem?
Inverse.
Hmm?
Inverse.
The matrix Z has to be invertible, but that's not a problem. We know we never inverted matrix. In this course, we never inverted matrix. Remember that. How do you do? How to avoid computing inverse?
Solving
Solve a linear
linear
system. So that is not a problem. What is the problem? Problem is that the matrix Z can be highly ill-conditioned. And this example shows that this matrix Z, if you compute the condition number of the matrix Z, you see it's very highly ill-conditioned. Even if you solve the linear system, you cannot avoid that problem, because then you are solving a linear system with a highly ill-conditioned matrix. So that problem will still be there. And from the design point of view, what is the problem then? G is highly ill-conditioned. So what, from the design point of view, what happens? Well, if G is very highly ill-conditioned, then what will happen, that G inverse, the matrix G inverse will have large numbers. Okay. That means the matrix K will have large numbers. And look at this, the entry of the matrix K. It's order 10 to the 3, very large. So we need a large feedback to stabilize the system, which is not practically desirable. It's a nice algorithm, but there are some practical problems. Right? You understand what I mean, right? So what do you do? Well, we have to look into some other techniques now. Okay. So before we do that, let's look into some other problem.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sir, we have been taught about finding this K matrix by Ackermann's.
I'm coming to that. That's disastrous, computationally disastrous. You'll see how bad that is. Yeah, it's a very popular formalized, theoretically nice algorithm, but you'll see how bad it is. Conception. Okay, before I leave this section, let me make a comment that we see that contributivity implies stability and stabilizability, but not the other way around. Okay. You can easily consider, there is a simple example in the book to convince that if a matrix is stabilizable, it doesn't have to be controlled. And for this algorithm to work, we really don't need controllability. But you need controllability to guarantee that the matrix Z is symmetric positive. Because the right hand side of the Lyapunov matrix equation is of the form B transpose, which is not symmetric positive. So the ordinary Lyapunov matrix equation result does not hold in this case. Okay. Okay. Any other question?
So one question.
Yes.
Sir, it is said that when we are transferring some eigenvalues to our desired locations, means we are stabilizing a system, we are spending some amount of energy.
Yes.
But you are presuming here that system should be controllable for that positive definiteness condition.
Right.
So whichever eigenvalues are already positive, already stable in a stable condition, by this presumption also those eigenvalues will also be
Stable, it will remain stable, of course.
but their energy will be spent or not.
Well, but that's why the contributing is stronger condition than stabilizability. If you want to just stabilize the unstable modes, let's say this algorithm will do that, but it will become more effort to do that. Yeah. This doesn't. So that's why, but unfortunately we need the condition of contributing. There's no other way can do that. Okay. So it's fine that we can use this approach to stabilize the system, but which may not be computationally very attractive approach, because we might need the large feedback. Okay. And that may not be desirable from the design point of view. Okay, but
one detected model.
I might need that later. I'll come back to that. Yeah. Okay.
This is discrete, please.
Yeah, but just to see if we have got it.
Okay.
Now we just talked about the concept of stabilizability. There is a dual concept of stabilizability called predictability. You know about that, right? Like in stabilizability, we find a matrix K such that A minus B is stable. The predictability concerns with the pair of matrices A, C, if there's input matrix C rather than the, I'm sorry, output matrix C rather than the input matrix B. And it's a dual concept. So here A is predictable if there exists a matrix L such that A minus LC is stable. Now we'll talk about this a little later. We need this a little later. Okay. So what happens that is the following, that we know how to stabilize an unstable system by using feedback control. But in many practical instances, just to stabilize the system is not enough. Certain design constraints require that the eigenvalue of the matrix A need to be placed in certain regions of the complex. Depending, there are many examples in this book. I have said that why it is required. Okay. For example, give me just one or two examples here. So suppose we on the closed loop systems have certain closed loop system have the minimum decay rate alpha is positive, which means that the eigenvalues, all the eigenvalues have to be, the real parts of all the eigenvalues have to be greater than or equal to minus alpha. So all the eigenvalues have to be in this region. Okay. So this is, there are other cases like that. Like here, all the eigenvalues need to be in a street like this, and things like that. So basically, what I'm saying here, there are certain design constraints required that the eigenvalues need to be placed in certain regions of the complex. Okay. Now, where to place the eigenvalues and which eigenvalues need to be placed, that is something, is an art rather than a science. A designer, control engineer has to make a choice according to his requirements. Okay. He wants the system response to be of certain nature. So according to that, the eigenvalues need to be placed. So it's a classical problem that people have already worked on it for years and years and years. Is something called pole placement problem. Actually, it's not a pole placement problem. Pole placement problem where you place the poles. Okay. But we are working here in time domain. Okay, not in the frequency domain. So we are not talking about poles, we are talking about eigenvalues. So actually it's an eigenvalue assignment problem called eigenvalue assignment problem. Same thing as pole placement problem. So here is the problem. Suppose you are given a pair of matrices A and B. And lambda is a set of eigenvalues lambda down to lambda n, where this set is closed under complex conjugation. Meaning that if alpha plus I beta is an eigenvalue, alpha minus I beta is also an eigenvalue. That's what it means. Okay. Then the problem is find a matrix K, find a feedback matrix K such that the spectrum of the matrix A minus Bk is that desired set of eigenvalues. Spectrum in the set of all the eigenvalues. The eigenvalue of the matrix A minus Bk is just the set that is given. This is a classical problem. Okay. K is called the state feedback matrix because it's a feedback matrix which is constructed using state. You need the knowledge of state. Actually, you don't need the knowledge of state to construct the matrix K. But to implement the control, U of t equal to minus kxt, then you need the knowledge of state. So it's called, that's why it's called state feedback matrix. But you must observe that to compute the matrix feedback matrix K, you don't need the knowledge of the state. To implement the control only, you need the knowledge of state. Okay. So here is a theorem that guarantees the existence and uniqueness of the matrix K such that A minus Bk will have a desired set of eigenvalues. So the problem is solvable for all lambda, for any given set of lambda, if and only it is controllable. Okay. If the problem is a single input problem, meaning that B is a vector, then the solution is unique, or the solution exists unique. In the multi-input case, if the problem is solvable, that means if A is controllable, the problem is solvable. There are infinitely many solutions. Okay. So in the multi-input case is more important than since there are infinitely many solutions, you can choose some solution to do many other things. Okay. But in the single input case, which is classically done, is fixed. You are aware now, your feedback matrix is unique. Not the matrix, it is the vector. Okay. So in the single case problem will be the problem is the following. So given single input case, given a controllable pair A B is vector now is single case and a set of eigenvalues, set of numbers, lambdas, which is this set is closed under complex computation. Find, so in the single loop case, what you do, the feedback matrix will be a matrix or a vector, or what will it be in the single loop case?
Single input case.
How will this feedback matrix look like?
One by one.
One by one.
Vector.
It's a vector,
Yeah.
Row vector. So find a vector F such that the spectrum of A minus B F transpose is equal to lambda 1. So this is the statement of the eigenvalue problem in single case. Okay?
Sir,
Yeah.
what does spectrum of a matrix tells about?
The spectrum of the matrix doesn't have any role here to play except that this system is controllable, that means all the modes, all the eigenvalues of the matrix A, all the modes have to be controllable. That's it. That's all we need. We need that assumption for the existence of the solution. Otherwise, solution it doesn't exist. The problem, eigenvalue problem has a solution if and only the system A is controllable. Okay. The eigenvalue of the matrix A, only role it has that all the modes have to be controlled. Okay.
So spectrum gives the modes of a particular matrix.
Hmm?
Means if we have a system,
Yeah.
we have its A matrix, and if we find the spectrum of that A matrix, does it have some? Means, what does it practically indicate about the system?
What do you mean by that?
Sir, I take it this way. We talk about pole of a system. We talk about eigenvalues of a system. We talk about mode of a system.
Yeah.
We talk about spectrum of a system.
Uh-huh.
This question is, how do you distinguish? Are the same?
The spectrum is the set of eigenvalues. That's called the spectrum. And in control terms, the eigenvalues with respect to controllability, we talk about modes. Stable modes or unstable modes. The eigenvalues are in control terms. We can talk about stable eigenvalues or stable modes or unstable eigenvalues or unstable modes. Okay. But as far as this problem is concerned, the eigenvalues of the matrix A do not have any role except that all the eigenvalues have to be controllable. That means all the modes have to be controllable. That's it. And this lambda, this set is not the spectrum of A. This is any set of eigenvalues. So we want to construct a matrix K in such that the A minus Pk, the spectrum of A minus Pk will be that set. So you can say this is an inverse eigenvalue problem. You understand what I'm saying? A direct eigenvalue problem is the problem of finding all the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Okay. Given a matrix A, you find the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. That's the direct problem. So here what you are trying to do, we are trying to construct a matrix given a set of numbers. We are trying to construct a matrix such that the eigenvalues of that matrix is that given set. Okay. We are instead of computing the matrix de novo from the start, what we are trying to do, we are trying to modify the matrix A in this way, either A minus Pk or A minus Pk. We are trying to modify the matrix A in such a way that the modified matrix will have a desired set of spectrum. Okay, is it clear?
So these lambda 1, lambda n that are arbitrarily given
They are
to us
arbitrarily given.
has nothing to do with A.
Nothing to do with it.
So that one is a desired
But
location.
only thing they have to be, the set has to be closed under complex conjugation. That's the only restriction. That these lambdas are not related to the eigenvalue matrix set. Okay. So that's what you want to do. What is happening? Suppose some eigenvalues matrix A are not stable. Okay. They are not stable, so you want to stabilize them. That's why this whole thing is about. So you cannot stabilize without doing something. So you are using control. Using control, you are constructing a feedback matrix, and with the help of that, you are trying to stabilize, or you are trying to place the eigenvalues in certain regions. That's it. Because your original eigenvalues are such that which are not acceptable to you. So you have to do something so that they will have the properties that you need. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thing is this. So this is a nice theorem. So this theorem is important. So there are, if you see in your linear systems book, there are hundreds of formulas and methods to do these things. Mostly in the single case, when you construct a vector array. And somebody was taking about Econometrics formula. Okay. It's very well known, mathematically correct, elegant, mathematically elegant, but does not work in practice. It's disastrous in practice. Why? You look into that theorem. This is your economic theorem. This economic theorem, of course, is for the single case. Probably most of you are familiar with the single input case only, right? We don't talk about multiple case parts. Right? But for practical control system design, multi-input case is more important because they are even more freedom. In single input case, you are restricted. But why the people have talked about single inputs all the time? Because it's easy to talk. Okay, so here is the well-known Econometrics formula. Econometrics formula says that given a controllable pair A, B, if you construct the vector F in this way, where Cm is the controllability matrix. So, if you look into this formula, you have to compute not only the matrix Cm, but you have to compute the inverse. Okay. And this D of A, what is D of A?
State transition.
D of A is the matrix. Yes, is the D of A is something like this. Suppose your desired spectrum, then we suppose this is the set of eigenvalues you want to assign, like lambda equals lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n. This is the eigenvalue you want to assign, right? So the characteristic polynomial, the closed loop characteristic. So that means the closed loop matrix A minus B F A. The spectrum of A minus B F T will be this. Right? So what is D of A? Well, what is the characteristic polynomial of the closed loop characteristic polynomial? D of lambda is lambda minus lambda 1, lambda minus lambda 2, lambda minus lambda n. Right? This is the closed loop characteristic polynomial because this polynomial has eigenvalues lambda 1 to lambda n. So what is D of A? D of A
minus
D of A is
A minus
A minus lambda 1 I, A minus lambda 2 I, up to A. Right? Now look into the formula. Are you already scared or not? Look at the amount of work. Do you understand what the amount of work needs to be done? If I give a 2 by 2 matrix, you can do it. That's what all the books tell you. Look at all the examples you have done. 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. They cannot do more than that because it's impossible to do it. you have to compute the contributive matrix. You have to invert it. You have to form this matrix, which requires multiplying of the matrix n times of the product, and then you have to put them together. Not only that, you have to invert the matrix, contributive matrix. It's a formidable computational task. Furthermore, the matrix Cm, the contributive matrix, is often inconsistent. So because this, because this formula is so popular in control community, when we are trying to talk people that this is computationally disastrous, people do not believe us. So we asked MATLAB that why don't you implement this for now? Because MATLAB didn't want to implement this because computation is disastrous, right? But on the insistence of the control engineers, MATLAB had to implement that. So MATLAB has a command to implement the Ackermann formula equation. It's called Acker, A-C-K-E-R. And there MATLAB has made a comment, you can see, that what are the numerical difficulties with this problem. And I'll show you later in my book, in chapter 11, you'll see an example I've shown that how Ackermann's formula fails miserably in computations. Okay, will we take a break now? And then we can come back and talk about assignment or the pole assignment problem, right? But in practice, it's hard to know exactly where to place the poles. Okay. As I said, it's a kind of art rather than science. So, since we have a definite lack of knowledge of any guidelines for placing the poles, so that makes the design procedure rather difficult. As a matter of fact, as I said, the designer has to use his inducer to use the freedom of choosing the eigenvalues so that the design objective is achieved, right? So sometimes a compromise is made. Sometimes the control engineers have decided that okay, we have to stabilize the system anyway. But let's do that under some constraints. The constraints is that the control engineers want to minimize a quadratic function. Okay. If you design a controller in such a way that that controller will minimize the some quadratic function. Okay. Quadratic function involve the states and the input. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. In such a way that the system will be stable. The system will be stable as well. Certain quadratic cost function will be minimized. So the control has to be chosen this way. So this is a classical problem called linear quadratic regulator problem, LQR problem. Probably all of you have seen this problem, right? LQR design is called. So the problem is that mathematically the problem is given the matrices, two matrices Q and R, find a control input U of t such a way that this quadratic cost functions, this cost function, the integral of 0 to infinity x transpose t qxt plus infinity r of infinity, this integral is minimized, okay, subject to that state space system. So if you will look into that, the Q is associated with the state and R is associated with the input. So what it means physically, the x transpose qxt that represent the deviation of the state x from the initial state. That's what it physically means. Okay. And the term U transpose RU2 or U transpose RU, this term represents the cost of the control. Okay. So the art is now how to choose. So the art is now how to choose Q and R in such a way that there are certain design specifications will be met. Okay. So again, choosing Q and R are up to the designer according to his requirements. But he knows what Q and R means. Right? The Q, as I said, is associated with the state, and x transpose Q x that represents the deviation of the state from the initial state. So here we decide how much deviation it is. Okay, Q has to be chosen that. Similarly, R. So in general, for the problem to be solvable, we frequently assume that the Q is symmetric positive semi-definite and R is symmetric positive definite. Meaning if R is a large matrix, then the control cost will be less. Okay. So that's why R is chosen to be a symmetric positive definite matrix. Again, that it's hard to set a specific guidelines how to choose Q and R. There are many papers that have been written how to choose Q and R. but it's very hard to give such a guideline. And Thomas Euler, in his famous book on linear system, he makes remark. The choice of these quantities again more of an art than a science. Okay, it's really dependable. But as I said, for all practical purposes, we always assume that Q is symmetric positive definite, positive semi-definite, R is positive definite. And if you want to know further about the choices of Q and R, when in the book I have given some the choices and how what choice means what. Okay, on the design point of view, you can look at that. Okay. So here is the theorem that solves the LQR problem. The theorem is the following. Suppose that the pair AB is stabilized. It doesn't have the controller, just stabilized. And the pair AK is detectable. Detectable, as I told you that. Detectability is the dual concept of stabilizability. So for this problem, we need the stabilizability and detectability both. Then there exists a unique optimal control, E0T, that minimizes the quantity function. And that unique optimal control is given by minus K is the feedback matrix times the state factor X of T. But K is computed from the solution of a quadratic matrix equation called algebraic Riccati equation. According to honor the name of the person who invented this equation, Italian mathematician called Riccati. Okay. So this matrix equation looks like this: X A A transpose X plus Q minus XP R inverse RP transpose X equal to Q. So this is the quadratic equation because this part is linear and this part is quadratic. That makes it non-linear. And interesting thing is that if the matrix R is 0, then it reduces to Lyapunov matrix equation. So it's a more general equation. So the theorem says that if the matrix K is computed as R inverse P transpose X, but X is the solution of this solution of the Riccati equation, then this control vector U is such that the quadratic function will be minimized and the matrix A minus BK will be stable. The system will be stabilizable, guarantee stability, and the quadratic cost function will minimize. And this can be done uniquely by choosing E of T uniquely. And it can be shown that under that assumption AB is stabilizable and the pair AK is detectable, this equation has a unique positive semi-definite solution X. It can be shown mathematically. You understand what I'm saying? And why, how do I know the matrix R is invertible? Of course, because R I am choosing as a symmetric positive definite matrix. And symmetric positive definite matrix is invertible, of course. So it's a classical result, but very interesting result. But and it's called the optimal control problem. Very popular in the literature. The important part now, the important task here is to how to solve. Oh, my voice is very loud. Can you not hear me without microphone? Yes. You can hear me. Okay, that's fine. let's put some ornament on it. Okay. So the question arises. So it's a very interesting result, very sophisticated result. The main problem is how to
It goes to sleep.
Oh, okay. I think it's time and that's time and that's it. Okay. Okay. So the problem here is how to solve this mechanical equation, and we'll be talking about that. You know, so there are two important matrix equations we have seen so far: the Lyapunov matrix equation and the Descartes equation. And we'll show you how to solve these equations. In control literature, there are thousands of papers actually written on the solution of these equations, but most of them are not practical because they are not based on those forms like real suit form or the Heisenberg form that we talked about. They are all based on control canonical form, which is mathematically correct but computationally not practical. There is a proof here. Proof is very interesting. One can see the proof. So this is the Descartes equation for the continuous time. Of course, we are talking about continuous time. So it's something called KR, continuous time algebraic equation. Now we'll be talking about the solution procedure of this equation a little later, but okay. So now today what I'm going to show you. Okay. So we have two ways to stabilize the system. One is Lyapunov matrix equation way approach, another is Descartes equation approach. Right? The Descartes equation approach also stabilize the system. It does a little bit more. In addition to stabilizing a system, it also minimizes the cost of the minimizes some cost function. Okay, control cost function, which is very important. Okay. Whenever you minimize some cost function, is very important. So the question arises: if you have to design, if you have to stabilize the system, you have to design a controller. Which of the two approaches will you use in practice? Okay. Now we have already seen that Lyapunov matrix equation has some computational difficulties, like the solution matrix there can be highly intense. So we have to now compare between these two approaches. So what I'll do the comparison here with that inverted pendulum problem. So we already solved that problem using Lyapunov matrix equation. Let's try to solve the same problem here using the Descartes equation and see what happens. So here we have to make some choice between Q and R. And since this is a single input problem, we are taking R equal to just a number 1, a symmetric determinant. And Q0 is also, Q0 is positive definite, a positive semi-definite. So in particular, positive definite matrix and positive square definite matrix. So we are taking is a 4 by 4 identity matrix. And for the time being, if you know that, like MATLAB has a function called Lyapunov. MATLAB has also a function for solving this Riccati equation, continuous term Riccati equation called CARE, C-A-R-E. So using the CARE, I get the solution X. And then I construct the feedback matrix K. Remember that by using the formula B R inverse B transpose X, right? K is B R inverse B transpose X, right? Using the formula, I compute the vector K. As I can see that the eigenvalues of the matrix A minus Bk have all negative real parts. That means this K stabilizes the system. Okay. And at the same time, we can find the unique control factor U of U0 and the minimum value of the quadratic function. Now, here, remember in the Lyapunov case, the feedback matrix X that we computed was of the elements of the feedback matrix K were of the size 10 to the 3. Here, look at that, how small the entries of the matrix K are. That shows, and it can be shown also mathematically, that LQ approach to stabilize the system is computationally much more attractive than the Econometrics. Of course, solving a Riccati equation, you have to solve a Riccati equation in this case. Solving a Riccati equation is much more expensive than solving the Econometrics equation. We'll talk about that again. Okay. We see that solution of Riccati equation, numerically effective process of solving a Riccati equation involves to find the real suit form of a matrix of order 2n by 2n, not the matrix A. And so, on the other hand, the Econometrics equation can be solved just by transforming the matrix A or A transpose to a real suit, n by n. But here we have to do that a problem of dimension 2n, so it's much more expensive because it's a quadratic equation, it's not linear. But the advantage here is the feedback matrix K, the entries of the feedback matrix K are much smaller than those of K obtained by the Lyapunov equation approach. As a matter of fact, I have drawn some picture here for you to see. Here is the tangent solution for the problem or the implementation of the problem. This is the Lyapunov matrix equation approach. Okay. And this is how the tangent solution with the LQRT approach or Riccati equation approach. And you can see from here the largest magnitude in tangent solution in the Lyapunov case is roughly 6 times larger than the Riccati case. Okay. And you see that initially there was some strong jumps in the solution, strong oscillations. Okay. There are some oscillations in this case, but in the other case, initial oscillations are much larger than in this case. And one thing you have to understand that the solution of the Lyapunov matrix equation depends on how to choose beta. And in this case, you have to know how to choose the two matrices given. Okay. And you can see, there are a lot of discussion how to choose Q and R to achieve certain design constraints. Okay. But I'm not going to because a lot of things that you say. So high gain, low gain, you can look at the whole. Okay. So I think we stop here today. So the next class I'll show you numerical methods to solve these two important matrix equations. In addition to these two equations, I'll also show you a method, numerical method, to solve the equation called the Sylvester's matrix equation, which is generalization of the Lyapunov matrix equation. Lyapunov matrix equation is of the form AX plus XA transpose equal to some positive vector matrix. The Sylvester's matrix equation is of the form AX plus XB equal to C. Given matrices A, B, and C, find X. So it's a generalization of the Lyapunov matrix equation, and this matrix equation arises in some control applications also. So we'll be talking about numerical solution of three important matrix equations: Lyapunov, Sylvester's, and algebraic matrix. After the next class. Okay.
Good, very good.
Question I also